is your name?
Dean Sawyers.
Were you drafted into the war, or did you volunteer to go into the war?
I volunteered, but I volunteered for the draft. So that way, I went in early, and that way, because I knew my number was coming up, and eventually it hit. So I just went ahead and volunteered.
What war were you in?
The Vietnam War.
When was this war?
Okay. It started, they finally said it started in 1956. That's when the first Americans was killed in Southeast Asia. And it lasted to 1973, so pretty long war.
What was your position in the war?
I was the sergeant, staff sergeant.
What did you do with that?
Well, my job was I run a squad of people, which most time it consisted of 12 people, counting myself. And but most time we stayed in the boonies. What I mean by that, we would be out 30 some days at a time in the boonies, and we were more or less, we would get reports about troops being so-and-so, so our job was to try to rout them out and destroy them.
What was your most distinct memory from this time?
Well, there was one or two. I'll give you the first one. The first time was that my job was as I run a team of 6 people, including myself, and so it was during monsoon, and they had told us that if they couldn't, that there wasn't anything flying, to pick us up, and told us to, they gave us some coordinates and told us to go to the nearest Friendlies, which was a company that had been bivouacked. And so we made it to them, and because we were low ammo, food, and everything, and during monsoon, and so with those, the supplies was hard to get to us, and why it remained, remembering it easily, was that they was 2 choppers came in, and we thought it was resupply, but come to find out, the chaplain had talked these pilots into flying us out Christmas dinner. We didn't even know it was Christmas. And it was running so hard and everything else. I don't see how they come out there, but, and they flew us out what they said was Christmas dinner, which time we got it back to their hole and so much water in it, why it was more soup than it was food. And what I can remember distinctly was we got a little small testament, which was about 5 inches long and about 3 inches wide, and a deck of cards. I said, this is strange, a deck of cards and a testament. And that second one was Hill 883. We were supposed to have a company which consisted of a company-sized force would have been 120 some people. but we was short-handed, which is I think we only had 86, and it's there wasn't that many of us come back off that hill because they had overrun us and had us outnumbered.
What was it that you mostly did?
Mostly, my job was ordering the men to what jobs to do, what positions to fill, and try to learn them what not to do in order to stay alive.
Tell me about being a tunnel rat.
Okay, the job of being a tunnel rat was a lot of times we would find an opening. Most times the openings would only be something like 24 by 24 or 30 some inches wide, you know. And since that time, I only weighed somewhere around between 96 and 98 pounds. And if you were real huge and a lot of weight, you couldn't get down in there. And a lot of times, even though I was the staff sergeant, I could order people to go down them, but a lot of guys would refuse because being scared, and we would search those holes because a lot of times, maybe I'd found hospitals, storage bins down in there, ammo, medical supplies, everything. And some of those places were 3 stories high. I went into one and I found uh, what was a hospital where they kept their wounded and doctored them up.
When was it that you got back from the war?
Well, my first time was I went over in '67. I think it was June or July '67, and I got back in '68, and I never stayed very long because when I came back to this side, it was people at the airports and around us in uniform treated us like we were the enemy. And a lot of times, they wouldn't, once the planes landed, they would force us to disembark, wait out, and board buses where there wasn't any civilians or civilian population.
Where did you receive your basic training and what was it like?
I received my basic training at Fort Knox, and the first 6 or 8 weeks it's rough because I took mine in the middle of winter and it stayed cold all the time. But comparing it to now and back then, it was a cakewalk to what they have to do now because we had to do all our training in our full gear, and which I guess it's a good thing because it helped us get through.
Okay. Do you have anything else you want to say?
Well, comparing as I was telling you about the civilian population, after I came back, and the way that people treated us, I said, this ain't for me. and I went back to where I felt I was more welcome,
Mhm.
and felt where there was more people were more friendly, and plus I miss my people
Mhm.
because uh, we well if you stay together night and day,
Mhm.
you get close,
Mhm.
and even though a lot of them that I lost, it, it bothers me that why and how that it happened, and a whole lot of guys got killed that was unnecessary
Mhm.
because there was close to 53,000 uh, troops that we lost over there. And one thing I want to make, you know, my first time and second time was I couldn't understand why we were doing this over there because those people, they're uh, they lived in these grass hooches, and their main possession was just one blackened kilo that they cooked their rice in, and each family distributed out on banana leaves
Mhm.
and eat it with their fingers. And I've run upon people, and the mountain yards that I worked with, they still used crossbows, spears, and uh, weapons that was way back in the ages.
Mhm.
And uh, those people, the South Vietnamese,
Mhm.
treated the mountain yards like
Mhm.
that they wasn't equal to them, and it all just didn't make sense. It kept you puzzled,
Mhm.
but you have to follow orders.
Mhm.
But thinking about it now, and I would probably go back because if we get into a war now, I don't think we got a chance. Because it's not the same. People don't feel the same.